What's going on, people? We're live, we're here, we're back, and today, previously on Arsenal, we're going to be discussing all the stuff that you guys probably forgot. You probably forgot a lot about what's happened this season. If you just to give you a quick recap, this season we had three managers: Emery, Ljungberg, and Arteta. At some points, we didn't know what direction the club was going in, and we're actually out of the Europa League. So when we go back, we won't have to watch any Europa League. And yeah, if you don't remember, at some points we had Nacho Monreal on our team, and we had a guy named Henrik Mkhitaryan who's currently in Italy, giving the to the Arsenal team. So yeah, it's been a weird season, but let's give you guys a quick recap. I got the boys with me today. Say what up, guys.
What's up?
Hi everyone. Hi, what's up? Hi.
So we got Melvin and JR. What up, everyone in the comment section? And then yeah, so we're gonna begin by getting into where were we in the summer after the summer began. What were you guys saying? What were you guys thinking when the summer began and you guys didn't see any signings coming in, and then things said get excited. Let me paint the picture. And then he brought in 6 guys. He brought in Martinelli, Ceballos, got William Saliba, took him back on loan. Brought in Pepe for 72 million, Kieran Tierney from Celtic for 25, I think, and then on the deadline day, brought David Luiz in for 8 million from Chelsea. After you've seen that, were you guys excited for the season?
David Luiz, no.
Let me get Melvin first. Melvin, were you optimistic for the season going into?
Not really. No, not really. I thought that we hadn't. One of our biggest problems, or the biggest problem, was the defensive midfielder. We hadn't even looked at that. Didn't do that at all. Didn't look at it. Still a problem. So therefore, the back four are not going to get any support at all. And our back four aren't the best in the world. They need support. So no, Pepe. I'd seen him on YouTube. He looked very, very good, but on YouTube ain't the same as playing on grass. So he had to. The jury's still out with that gentleman at the moment. I think he'd be all right. Actually, I'm a little bit more optimistic now. And the other players, Ceballos. Well, let's talk about the first game at home of the season. I think Burnley at home. He looked outstanding. I thought we got one here. We've really got a player.
Ceballos.
Yeah,
Ceballos.
He looked unbelievable, didn't he? He was doing
all
tricks. He was moving the ball forward quickly, which our midfield doesn't do. And if we're going to, and basically, well, I'm going to talk about the game now, but I'll talk about other games later. That game, we just were 1-0 up, very good at home, absolutely wonderful. And then our defence just gave away another sloppy goal. Here we go again. And luckily, I think Aubameyang got the winner, make it 2-1. But we struggled against a not very good Burnley team. But when we talk about the side, David Luiz, I wasn't sure about him. I don't think he's not a great defender now. He's seen better days. But last season he was probably our best defender. That's where we are at the moment.
Yeah, JR. Okay, guys. First of all, let me tell you guys this image here is Arteta's first 7 games. So after that, he did go on to win a couple more games. So it's not completely up to date up to today's date, but this is the first 7 games in the Premier League. Arteta only won 1 game, but after that, he did win the Newcastle game and the Everton game before we left. So I think he's up to 3 or 4 wins in the Premier League now on his record.
Yeah,
so this is not up to date.
No, that table's a bit skew-wick, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's not completely up to date. JR, when you seen these guys come in the window and everyone was getting excited and they said top 4 was get in the bag, what were you thinking?
Okay, now Martinelli, when I heard about him, his age and where he came from, he wasn't even playing in top flight football, league football in Brazil. But then I heard that he was asked to train with the Brazilian national team. And I said, oh, so he must have loads of potential. So when they went and got him, I said, yeah, maybe he's one for the future. They're going to bring him in and then put him in the under-21 squad and, build him up a bit and then promote him up to the first team eventually. And this kid came and did amazing things. And I'm so excited. Like I'm excited to watch him play now, and I'm excited for what he can become later as well. So with him, I think he just needs to work on his on making his performances consistent. That's all. Now, mostly Brazilian players have been known to be like hate European weather, especially UK weather, and complain about the littlest things. He came and hit the ground running, and that's amazing. We couldn't ask for better. So yeah, so him, I didn't even have any great expectations, but so he's ticked all the boxes and gone on to do even better than I thought. So amazing. In hindsight, amazing. Coming for when he was coming, I was like, yep, bring him on, but bleed him in slowly, and he's done wonders. Next person is Pepe, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Pepe. I heard loads and loads of good things. I picked him on YouTube, just as you said, Melvin, and I was like, okay, cool. This guy looks like a skillful dude, and that. Hopefully, he comes and does what he does. He's come, and in some ways, we can blame Emery for his performances or lack of. I'm not sure what sort of direction he was giving him. So it's his first season anyway. I'll just wait. And now he knows exactly what the Premier League is about. So I'll just wait. I won't criticize him as yet. But yeah, at the time I was excited. I was happy that they did that. But then I really wanted a defender and a holding midfielder. We never went and got anyone. Well,
yeah, but let's be honest. The David Luiz situation was a panic buy because if you guys don't remember, Kashani was the club captain at the time, and he left, and he forced his way out just before we went on the tour to America. So the club was kind of forced by their hand. When after you're selling him and Monreal, you're kind of forced to have to go get a panic buy last minute.
Yes, they were forced. They were forced to go and get a panic buy, but they didn't have to go and get him. As soon as I heard the rumors of us being linked to him, I said, no, wait, not him. And I always remember. Every time I hear his name, I remember. I remember when on Monday Night Football, Jamie Carragher said a word about him, and I was like, what's he talking about? What's he saying? But he said, I wouldn't want to play with him. And I said, what's he saying? He meant I wouldn't want to play with him. Reason being, he bombs off so much, and he's not a reliable partner in defense. He goes forward and makes things happen, yes, and it's great because the opposition never expects an extra player in midfield to supply balls and stuff like that. So that's what's good about him. But he's unreliable when it comes to defense. So yeah, him, I knew he was very undisciplined, very, very undisciplined, and for what he did in that Olympiacos game when he ducked a seasoned player, a seasoned defender. Yeah, he's the most decorated player we have. That ball was coming over his head, and he ducked and let that ball go in. Come on. And he doesn't organize the defense or nothing. I just knew you know what, he's living up to expectation. I knew what he was going to be like for us, and it's happening.
He didn't disappoint you, in other words.
Oh, definitely not. No, definitely not. I'm not
these guys weren't as optimistic as me going into the season. But guys in the comments, let me know. Did you think top 4 was guaranteed for us based on the summer? Because remember, we won the transfer window. We had the best window. We won the transfer window. Everyone was saying Arsenal's transfer window was amazing. Everything has changed. This goes to show you Arsene Wenger was that cancer. Well, I mean, sorry to use that word. Arsene Wenger was a poison. But this shows you that, hey, our optimism was falsely given at the time because we were so optimistic that, hey, you know what I mean? What are you going to do?
You got to remember sometimes, kid, that at the beginning of every season, every supporter's optimistic. Not always going to think they're going to win the league or be in the top 4, but if you're a supporter of a club, there's something inside you that does something to your brain that makes you optimistic when you shouldn't really be.
Okay, so let's go into the first game. First game of the season versus Newcastle. What were you guys thinking? Were you guys excited, optimistic? Because remember, this game we let Newcastle got more shots on target than us. Just to remind you guys, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was the only goal of the game off of Ainsley Maitland-Niles' assist, and it's it was a scruffy game. What do you guys think?
I thought it was a bit. Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
No. Sorry, go on. I was only going to talk about things. I'll talk about it after. Go on. Sorry.
I just thought that game, it was a poor game. I thought neither team looked very good. We probably had more. Did we have more possession? I can't even see the. We had more possession. I think we probably
yeah, we
did.
64 to 36.
With all that possession, I think we had about 2 or 3 chances.
Mm-hmm.
And when you play in a way to a team that weren't very good, something like Newcastle, you know that they only need 1 chance to score. They won't, So when the whole game, you're sitting thinking, first of all, are we going to score? So we did not like scoring. And then when we did score, you think, we're going to sit back now and we're going to let one in because they're going to have 1 chance and that'll be that. So it wasn't a great game to watch. First game of the season. All right, you leave them a bit, give them a bit of slack, but not impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's go on. JR, did you want to speak about the first game, or you want to move on?
No, just talking about with the possession. That was typical Arsenal. Loads of possession and no shots on target. So a typical Arsenal under Emery. But
yeah. So moving on to the next game, the Burnley game. I remember this game for being the game that everyone was raving about Ceballos, saying Ceballos is amazing, Ceballos this, Ceballos that. Buy him from Real Madrid now. Put all the money down on him. And I think we got a little carried away because it was the first home game and we won 2-1. And if you remember, we let Burnley get 13 shots on target. 13 shots in the game. Only 3 on target, but they could have won that game. They could have drawn that game easily.
Oh yeah, and Burnley are known for being notoriously effective. Like they work hard, very industrial, as
Yeah.
And not only that, they're efficient as well, aren't they? They don't need too many chances to score. And that's the danger.
Yeah, very old school touch about them. They score and they shut shop.
Yeah, they can do it where we can't.
Exactly.
You guys have any more notes that you remember from this game? Because for me, I remember the first 2 games. The guy who impressed was Joe Willock. The first 2 games, Joe Willock was impressive.
Yeah.
After that, he fell down the drain. Joe Willock. That's when he started to fall down the drain. And also, Ainsley Maitland-Niles was impressive the first 2 games.
Yeah, but Ainsley Maitland-Niles has had loads and loads of different moments, but he's not consistent with it. That's his only problem.
True.
Yes.
Yeah.
And remember, Pepe didn't start the first 2 games, I think, if I'm mistaken.
Pepe came on though, didn't he?
He did. Now here's when things started to go south. Which game do you want to touch on first? The Liverpool game, 3-1. Do we want to look at the stats? Let's take a look.
Bloody hell! I'll put that.
25 shots Liverpool took that game. They're lucky they finished with only. We're lucky they only finished with 3.
Well, you say that. The first half, I thought we did all right defensively. We were holding them. We weren't. I don't think we didn't go in their half too many times. And as the game went on, you thought, we're holding them. They might panic here. And what happened is, I think just before half time, they got a corner and scored. And you knew, game over, might as well all go home. And that's what the game was like. Second half, we didn't get near them. We got a goal. I think it was 3-0, was it? When we got a goal, was it? The game was over when we scored.
The game was over.
So typical away at Liverpool full. Put the white flag up and good night, boys. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Ceballos, Gunnar Dredd says here, Ceballos has been disappointing. Yeah, he was out for injury a bit, but expect more. Somebody else is saying Ceballos is lightweight. Apparently, Partey's personal terms have been agreed, though. We have to see it to believe it, buddy. Unfortunately, we have to see it to believe it.
All I'll say to that gentleman, do not buy the shirt yet, all right? Name on the back. You're going to get advice I'll give him tonight, all right?
JR, remember the Tottenham game, the home game. What do you remember from this game?
I'll tell you what I remember from this game.
1 second, I was asking JR.
Sorry.
No, please, Melvin, go, because I can't.
To me, it was aggro for me, this game. Aggro. I did a favour and got a mate of mine a ticket, right? And then the tickets, for some reason, we couldn't get through the turnstile. We weren't sitting next to each other. So there's a muck up with the tickets. He went in one way, I went in the other, and he doesn't know his way around the ground properly. So I finished up. I spoke to him. I said, I'll tell you what, you sit in my seat and I'll sit in your seat and we'll switch over. I missed the first goal, didn't I? The Spurs goal.
No way.
I'm aggravated. I've missed the kickoff. I know it's 1-0 because I see on the screen before you go in. He's got the. Yeah. I mean, shoulders are down. How do they score? And it was a bad mistake. I think the goalie made a mistake, didn't he? Yeah. Leno pushed it out, didn't he? To his feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leno. Yes. You're right.
He made a mistake. He pushed it out to his feet, didn't he, or something?
But it was also, if I remember, Socrates and Shaka went for a header, both of them at the same time, and that in the midfield, and they both missed the header, and that's what gave them the breakaway.
I remember. Yeah,
and that was probably the game. I think that was the game that Xhaka tried to give 2 penalties away, and only managed to give 1 penalty away that game. Their second goal was a penalty. Then we slid in with all guns blazing, and it was a penalty before he even touched the geezer. I mean, it's frightening. And we luckily got a goal just before half time. Lacazette, wasn't it? And then that gave us a bit of hope for the second half. I know Lacazette got one, and then I think got two, didn't he, in that game?
JR, you got a question here. Somebody's asking you.
Joseph.
Which midfielder would you get rid of for Thomas Partey?
I'll get rid of everybody but Torreira.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Okay, so now let's move on to the next game. We're gonna talk about Watford versus Arsenal. Do you remember this game?
Hey, before you go though, that Spurs game. Do you remember Lacazette's goal? Oh my God, he whipped that to the back of the net. I'm surprised that net didn't rip.
Oh yeah, he hit it perfectly, didn't he? Whacked it.
I had a similar debacle with my ticket that day as well, Melvin. But
did you?
Yeah, my guy didn't turn up. And then he answered the phone and he said he wanted £200 more than we agreed. And I said, you know what, forget it. So I bumped into Loomis from AFTV and went to the pub to Tottenham and went and watched it there. And it was just like being in the stadium. So yeah, but great game. That was man.
Okay, I'm gonna show you guys something.
Go on. 2-1.
Do you remember that?
Phil Walker one, yeah. Also had T-shirts with that sign-ups in the shop selling.
Ganduzi in the game.
When he got subbed off.
When he got subbed off.
You're talking about Watford?
Yep.
Right, I'll give you my take on that game, if you don't mind. Right. We were shocking, absolute disgraceful first half, and yet we finished up 2-0 up. Talk about paper over cracks, 2-0 up. So what do? Second half, we did the normal Arsenal thing that the Emery decided, it was a great thing to play. We kept playing it out from the back. We must have done it 2 or 3 times and nearly gave away a goal. We finished up, we gave it away. I think it was it Socrates or
it was a penalty.
Duffy? No, that was the second goal. The first goal, we were 2-0 up and we let a ball. We played it out from the back and one of their players just got his foot on the ball from inside the box, believe it or not. I think he squared it and someone pushed it in 2-1. Backs against the wall. As you're right when you say Guendouzi went off, give it the 2-1. And we gave Louise, your man, JR, Louise, did a stupid tackle in the box.
Can I talk about this?
You're lucky not to lose.
How did you not mention the 30 shots? Look at that. Shots.
I can't see it. I can't see it.
30 shots, Melvin. They took 30 shots.
They had 30 shots to our 7.
Oh, no, really? Oh. We went through a period then, didn't we? Every team was having that 20 shots against us, wasn't they? Do you remember?
Because Emery was driving with the handbrake on. That's exactly his style.
Handbrake on, exactly. Yeah. Wow. It's great. So that as I say, lucky to get away with a draw at the finish against a very poor Watford team.
Yeah. This guy said it perfectly. Diabolical game. Because that was the game when people started to look and be like, yo, what's wrong with this guy? Like, what's wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
Because for you to give up 30 shots, at that point, believe it or not, I was still defending him. I'm not going to lie to you.
I think I was as well.
I was still defending him. I was saying you have to give him chances. It's just, what is it? The 4th game of the season. We played good the first half against Liverpool. We won the first 2 games. We draw this one. So far we've done good. We're still in the top 4 positions. Let's give him a chance. That's what I'm saying. I'm still defending him.
The only thing against that kid is that you forgot the last 8 games of the last season. That wasn't his first season, was it? That's the last. You've got to remember the last 8 games we were pants, especially in the final as well. And you think to yourself, the team sometimes is a mirror image of the manager, and the way we let ourselves. The way the team let everyone down.
Big up to you, Tom.
The manager's got to take some responsibility, and you could see even this season at the beginning of it, you suddenly thought to yourself, "Are they playing for him?" You asking yourself that question because there's no energy in the team. No one seemed to know what they were doing, and they were just like the easiest thing is to do when there's no energy is to defend, and that's what we were doing. And the managers had a defensive mentality as well. So as every game, there wasn't a definitive time when I thought, you know what. This manager's absolute pants. But I was getting less and less confident as the games were going on.
Yo, this guy, if you guys don't know Dragon Ball Z, you probably won't know the hyperbolic chamber, but we need to get all our players in there. You're right, Maestro. We got some more comments talking about Igal's name. Not this guy saying, I don't know what these guys are talking about. Smash the like button, people.
His name.
Partey's in. Okay, now let's go. We're gonna skip over Europa League this time. We're just gonna speak about the Premier League. But we did win a 3-0 game against Frankfurt, first game in the Europa League. But then the kamikaze game, Aston Villa versus Arsenal, where you got my boy getting John McGinn scores in the 20th minute. Then Ainsley Maitland-Niles gets a red card. Then what happens? Pepe scores a penalty. Wes Morgan scores. Chambers scores. Then the free kick that saved the game, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Hold on. Where's Morgan? Okay. That's Where's Morgan. Where's Morgan? Okay, cool.
Whatever his name is, the Brazilian.
Yeah,
I didn't know his name was, I don't know, Captain
Leicester,
Morgan, whatever you want to call him. But do you guys remember this game? And
I do. I remember how I felt because with Aston Villa at that time, well, not at that time, they'd just come up. They were the one of the promotion teams.
Yeah.
And after a few games, they weren't doing particularly well. And after about 5 minutes, only 5 minutes, you could tell that they weren't scared of us. They were really breaking fast. They were defending, obviously, the away team. They were getting the ball. They were moving it forward very quickly. And they had a couple of chances, actually, before they scored. They should have been more than one up. As you say, kamikaze, we go 1-0 down. We have 2 bookings in a space for Maitland-Niles of a very short time. And we, as I say, we get it back to 1-0. And then everyone's relief. Oh, absolutely wonderful. I think a minute later, we let in another goal, didn't we? Make it 2-1. They scored just after we equalised. Then Chambers found himself in the other box and did well. And there was a fantastic free kick from Aubameyang. Everyone's happy, except if you take a step back and think about what's just happened out there. We've struggled against Aston Villa at home, who are not playing particularly well, and they're a promotion team. And you think, you're very happy. You come out of the ground, you think, it's Christmas. Well, it ain't really. It's not Christmas.
JR, before you go, I'm just gonna paint a picture where I was. I was calling into the football terrace and coming on to the Sunny TV Arsenal and telling everyone, see Arteta. Emery's still the man. Emery's still the man. He won this game. Under Wenger, we would have lost this game. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, you probably got a point there, but I'm telling you, man. Oh, Emery, that guy, he was draining. Anyway, let's move on. We'll talk about that after.
12 shots we gave up at home against Aston Villa that game. Don't forget. Now, Man United 0-0 away at Old Trafford. Do you remember this game?
1-1.
I mean 1-1. Yeah. Scott McTominay. We should have won this game. We were supposed to batter them. If you remember.
You're right. We shouldn't have beaten them on the night, watching the game. Before the game, we were United were going through a very bad patch. They were there, like the old cliche goes, they were there for the taking, and we just weren't good enough.
Yeah, Pogba had started his issues with the manager and that, innit? Yeah, as well at the time. I remember. And they went,
lucky to win the game against Villa. Draw was a fair result. Papered over cracks. Sonny said this too at the time when some fans were getting hyped over after the win. I was one of those fans, man.
That was a famous thing with Sonny, wasn't it? When he was on the other channel.
Yeah.
Like a very, very famous thing where people sat up and noticed him because he was the only guy that was upset about us winning. And he was pretty right.
Yeah. What about Saka missed a sitter against Man United, if you remember? But Saka did also give the assist. And VAR, if it wasn't for VAR, we wouldn't have had that goal from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, if you remember.
That was a good goal.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yes.
That was such a smart move from him. Such a smart move. The way it was so good. The linesman thought it was offside. But he was onside by miles.
And do you guys remember this? Good evening.
Yeah.
Every game, he was getting micked by the news reporters, let alone their own fans.
I think at the end of it, he's getting the Mickey taken in with the players.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back again. We won 4-0 in Europe. In Europe, it was 2 different teams. There was a Europa League team full of kids that were doing good, firing in goals. But then
it was full of the kids, yeah.
But then when you face Bournemouth, you look at the team, the experienced veterans, and they only escaped with the 1-0 win with David Luiz header.
Yeah, but that was Emery's chopping and changing and shit, wasn't it?
And you must have been at this game, Melvin.
I did. The thing is, what you're talking about, the Bournemouth game, yeah, it was. I don't even want to talk about it. It was a hopeless game, absolutely horrible. But the difference in the two teams, the way they played, was you had, as you say, a lot of youngsters coming into the European. They played without fear. They probably hardly ever spoke to the manager. They did their own thing.
Yeah,
They had something to prove. Whereas you've got the in the Premier League, you had the people that play there every week, and they were scared to lose. They didn't go for a win. A lot of them had mentality. They've given up. So that's why. I mean, I remember watching Tierney play, watching Martinelli play, and when Saka was just about coming into his own, but he didn't start brilliantly. But obviously, as the season got on, he became absolutely wonderful. And the football we're playing was much faster and more direct with the European games, and it was a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, it was. 100%.
I just had the lineup. I just had the lineup up.
Proud. Yeah,
I just had the lineup up, and it goes to show you that lineup was so young, and but the defense, even the defense. When you look at the defense, that defense didn't concede a goal yet. That young Europa League defense, where you have Martinez in goal, you have Holding, Mustafi, Kieran Tierney, and Bellerin. In addition to Lucas Torreira, Joe Willock, Ceballos, Ainsley Maitland-Niles in an attacking role, and then you had, or did we go back through that game? I forget. Martinelli and Reece Nelson. That was a good front. Everybody did good those games, and I generally enjoyed watching the Europa League games more than I did the Premier League games that time.
Yeah, I remember Willock trying his best to get a few goals, and yeah, I remember that game.
Okay, Liam, if you've missed it, Liam, if you missed it, what I was saying was the numbers are not up to date in the photo. That's after 7 games that Arteta coached for Arsenal in the Premier League. He did only win 1 game from the first 7, but after that he did end up winning 2 out of his next 3, I think, and draw 1. But yeah, chopping and changing from Emery. Yeah, chopping and changing hurt us, man. It hurt us. I'm gonna move on. Show you guys the next game. We're going to skip past Sheffield United or the Sheffield United loss, or do you guys want to discuss it?
Yeah, there's a couple of big points in that Sheffield United loss.
Okay.
First of all, that summed Arsenal up. Again, like you say, Joe, we're away team, had all the possession, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We had most of the possession.
68.
Right?
68, 32.
And all right, I could just about see that with my eyesight. Right? And we hardly made a chance, apart from the most amazing chance that Pepe had. All he had to say was good morning to the ball, and it was in the net. He missed it from about a yard out. Just good morning. Didn't even have to touch the ball. Just speak to the ball, and it would have been in the net. Absolutely wonderful. No, he didn't do that. He missed it. Right? And then we let in talk about schoolboy errors. We let in the most ridiculous goal from a corner where the guy's in the 6. How can an attacker be in the 6-yard box from a corner and no one within 20 yards of him?
Yeah,
it's a bit of a feat, that, isn't it?
Yeah, no one was on him.
His job wasn't even. His job was to push Leno, though. He was literally not even looking for the ball. He was just pushing Leno. The ball landed in front of him. He kicked it. If I remember.
Listen, we went 1-0 down. We had a lot of time to equalise, and I remember at the time thinking we ain't going to equalise. It was that type of game.
You could tell, innit? Yeah.
You could tell.
Okay, I'm gonna show you guys the next game, the Crystal Palace game, the game where everything kicked off. The game where everything kicked off. This was the game. This was the game where let me paint you guys a picture. David Luiz scores in the 9th minute after Papa just scored in the 7th minute. Socrates. So 10 minutes in, we're up 2-0. We have the game by the strap of the neck. Everything to go. We give up a penalty from Chambers in the 32nd minute. I don't even think it was a penalty, to be honest.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But they gave it as a penalty in the 32nd minute. And in the 52nd minute, Jordan Ayew scores a goal to tie the game 2-2. Parts that I missed about that, when Granit Xhaka got subbed off, this is when things went crazy. Granit Xhaka got subbed off. I forget at which minute, but when he got subbed off, he went to give the fans ump, and started this whole thing. He threw his captaincy at Aubameyang, and it actually caused haywire through the fan base, and people did not want anything to do with him after that. And personally, this was the moment where I lost all respect for Emery. After subbing off Ozil threw his stuff in the ground. Pepe was still struggling, and the whole fan base at that point said, "This is it. Emery's not the one." What do you guys remember about this game?
I remember what's it called? Zaha. Zaha, it was almost as if he wanted to show us that you made a mistake not coming to get me. Well, we went for him, but then they asked for too much money, didn't they?
Yeah.
And he played out of his skin. Jordan Ayew, he scores, but he doesn't score important goals for them like that. And we just let him do it. It was a good goal. We just let him like sail past and score. And Xhaka, that moment when he was coming off, I was watching on TV and I was like, yes, he's coming off. And then I heard the fans react the same way I did, but by clapping. And next minute, he's obviously he thinks he's better than he is actually, and he's very arrogant. And he starts walking off. He takes off he starts doing all that nonsense. As he's going, I think Aubameyang shouts to him and says, "Yo, armband or something." He takes it off and he throws it at his feet, and then he walks off. And I said, thank God this idiot has done this. Now he's gonna leave. Now he can go.
Yeah,
I'm so happy. And next minute, he's still there. I would have that night. If I was any big exec at Arsenal, I would have ripped up his contract and said goodbye. That's it.
I couldn't agree more with you. I was at the ground, and people didn't start clapping or whatever, going hooray because they were happy he's going. Until they didn't give him a lot of stick until he was actually started moving from the first step slowly. It's not as if he just went off and they started giving him stick and then he went mad, which wouldn't have been right anyway. But he started it himself. He asked. It was like he was asking for it. Why? Well, it's 2-2. We've got to try and get a winner here. And he's slow. So I don't know what he was trying to do. But as I we've got a history at Arsenal, and really a lot of that history's been torn up now because years ago players do half that they never play for the club again. And he got away with it. And the manager's got to take the blame for that as well.
Yeah. Can you imagine him doing that when Tony Adams was there? He would go and grab him by his shirt and tell him to get off.
And then, and in the dressing room, he wouldn't be very nice to him either, would he? Excuse me, old boy, I don't think you should have done that. I don't think he would have done it that way.
Hell no.
Yeah, no, Granit Xhaka lost a lot of respect for
Granit
that.
Xhaka? Listen,
Let me tell you guys this.
No,
Oliver said this comment here. Unai Emery, shocking man management, was the reason for this Xhaka situation. What do you guys think?
Sorry, Joe. What were you saying just now? You were going to say something.
I was talking about Xhaka. It was about Xhaka. What was I going to say about Xhaka?
Tell us the thread.
What does Xhaka do? Says Joseph Corner Glove.
Yeah. It was about Xhaka.
Pride. I can't believe.
You see about the man management.
Maximus, I know you hate him.
I'll tell you what, not every manager is good at man managing players, but the ones who are not good at man management, they're good at strategies or tactics and stuff like that, And me personally, when Emery first came, after that first Tottenham game, I said, no, this is what we've been needing. This is what we've needed all along. The guy made the right subs at halftime. And it changed the whole game.
Yeah.
Like I spoke to a few Tottenham fans who I go gym with, and they said to me that sub at halftime was unexpected, and it changed everything. And I just loved the way Emery was making changes here and there, and then all of a sudden he stopped and became this guy who was too scared to go for it. Sometimes in certain games, you could tell we have these stints where we'll just go for it, and then there's a goal coming up, and then he'll just stop everything and then be shouting at them, no, come back, you do this, you do that, let them go for it. He was way too defensive.
Controlling.
It's like you said, JR. It's like you said, and I've said it before. We played under him with a handbrake on.
100%.
Xhaka should have been out the club. We bottled it.
And that's how you know, Melv, yeah? That's how you know this guy.
Xhaka killed our creativity. Slows us down.
I said, this is how you know, yeah? Emery's level is mid-table teams. Because mid-table teams play like that. Burnley play like that, yeah? They play like that because they know they haven't got much quality. So what they do is they nick a goal and they hold back, and then, they stay back every time. Even your strikers always have a defensive kind of mind frame,
Yeah.
And that's the type of mentality he is. But he didn't realize that he was at a club with a really good top three. So he should front three, sorry. So he should have just allowed them to flow, but he stopped it.
I think he did that the first season, and we scored the third most goals in the league. But to be honest, I can't defend him no more. He made his bed. He has to lay in it. But what do you guys think about this? This guy's saying knocking Emery, but Arteta ain't much better. He won't be around much longer. Give him a season and a half. That's a crazy shout.
Well, what I'll say to him is that Emery had a season and a half. Arteta hasn't even had a season. So allow him, then we'll criticize. The whole reason we just said, the kid and I just said, we gave Emery loads and loads of time to flourish, and in the end he ruined it himself. There's nothing anyone could do about it. You gotta give people time. So saying Arteta is not as good, you don't know that, do you? So we don't either. But
and Maximus got a point about Xhaka. We're gonna get off of Xhaka. We're gonna go on to the next game, guys. But I'm gonna just read out some of these. He's talking about Xhaka's mobility. He lacks mobility for the Premier League. We got another comment here. He's saying Xhaka is hugely overrated. I don't think anyone rates him in the first place for him to be overrated. And then everyone kind of agrees with Maximus that Xhaka's shit and Ceballos doesn't like to play that midfield role anyway. So I don't really know what to do with these guys. But hey, the midfield is messed up and we need to fix it. Thomas Partey hopefully can do something.
So Ceballos, you guys wouldn't keep him, no?
No.
I would, Jay, if we had two other decent midfield players around him. I don't think he can do it. If he's going to be our best midfield player, then we ain't going to be good enough.
He needs someone decent.
Exactly.
Hey guys, can you see that? The Wolves, the Arsenal Wolves result and the Leicester and the Southampton?
Well, I know the scores anyway.
Yeah.
Which game do you want to talk about?
Just talk about them in order. I just got to step out for 1 second.
All right.
Which one? The Wolves one.
Wolves when we drew 1-0.
At home.
Yeah, 1-0 we drew. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I don't remember it. No. I went to the one before that, away, Wolves away, and it was shocking. I think we lost 2-1, 3-1 or something. Yeah. 2-1 or 3-1. Yeah, and that was shocking, mate.
I remember the Wolves. I remember the Wolves one at home, 1-0. It was a typical Wolves performance where they broke very, very quickly, very direct. They had a lot of very fast players.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we went 1-0 up. We think we went 1-0 up like normal at home. We couldn't hold on to it. But I was very impressed with Wolves, like they were the season before when we played them at home. They seem to play, funnily enough, like a team, not like 11 different players like sometimes, you know. They got the right players in the right position, which helps as well, which we don't always do. And you know, I think we didn't have any. If I remember, we had hardly any shots on target. It was hardly any shots at all. And in the game, we couldn't hold on to a lead at home, which you know, you've got to do that at home. You go get a lead, 1 or 2. You've got to at least. You've got to win the game.
Yeah,
it's all. The team's got to attack you. Yeah, they're not. They haven't got a team set out to attack you because they're playing away from home. So therefore, you've got all the aces in your hand, and every time we throw it away, game after game, going ahead, bang, drawing, or getting beaten a couple of games as well.
Kid, can you open the stats on the Arsenal Wolves one?
Yeah, sorry guys, I just had to pray quickly.
In that,
12-6.
Yeah, they had 12. We had 6. Yeah, you're right.
No, they had more shots than us.
Yeah, 12.
That's bad, isn't it? Come on, that's not good, is it?
And possession was, we had 57. They had 43. Didn't mean
it meant you're right, because their possession was direct. Ours wasn't.
Exactly. They made something of it.
People don't realise that.
Walsh, you're right. He was overrated before we signed him. But most players that we overrate them because we're hyped that we signed them. Think about what we did with Pepe. We thought Pepe was the next Mo Salah. The way we hyped him.
But kid, you see Pepe, they had every reason to be happy, innit? They had every reason to be happy. He came with a big price tag. He was proven, well, not here, but it was a goal scorer, you know? He was their talisman. And he was coming to do it for us.
How do you guys pronounce this guy's name? I'm struggling to pronounce it.
Emery.
Sabi Dulai. He's basically saying Emery said in his first interview he'd rather win 4-3 than play a 0-0 game. I never saw that became so defensive near the end of his tenure. So what do you guys think happened? because this was ridiculous. He went from being the guy who was winning against Tottenham 4-2.
I'll tell you what happened. No. I'll tell you what happened with him. He lost his confidence. The team lost his confidence in him, and that was it.
Okay. The Leicester game. Do you remember the Leicester game? How did you guys discuss it?
Oh,
no, we haven't discussed it. I remember that one.
Okay.
It was similar to the Liverpool game in the respect that they were big favourites, Leicester, which is very hard to say being an Arsenal supporter, but it's true. They were the big favourites for the game, playing up there, and it was 0-0, and we were holding our own. One of those games, holding our own. And all of a sudden, they get a goal, Leicester, and it's over. Game over. Never looked like getting back. And I think it's 2-0, didn't it? Yeah, 2. Sorry, I'm looking there. 2-0.
Yeah.
Maddison got a terrific goal to make it 2-0, and they played around our defence. If I remember the first goal, they did a lovely little move for the first goal as well. So no, it was just there was a gap between the two teams. That was only 2-0. You could see the gap between the two teams in that game.
I think if there was a game that I ever seen that made me want to sack him, it was this game right here, Southampton. Do you want to talk about the Leicester game, JR?
I don't remember it. No.
Okay, Southampton game, if you remember.
I don't remember
Southampton, we're at home. Southampton got 21 shots on us.
Sheesh.
And if you remember, Southampton were at the bottom of relegation. They were the lowest of the low at the time.
Yeah, they were.
Relegation. Barrel.
Didn't they sack their manager just before that or just after that?
No, they didn't sack their manager. They kept their manager.
What, all season, are you sure?
All season, Hoffenhutel, they kept him. They stuck by him. And this game, their substitute was playing rings around us. If you remember, there was a substitute that came on. I'll show you his face. He came on and he ran rings around us. If you guys remember, this guy right here with the shiny gold blaze.
Mr. Ginepo.
He could have scored 7 goals by himself.
Mr. Ginepo, yeah.
At the time, they were playing with us. Danny Ings, if you remember, the whole team shut off. The whole team shut down. They did a quick free kick. In.
1-0, yeah.
Right? And then
that's right. Bad.
And then what happened? James Ward-Prowse got his second goal. And then basically Lacazette, when he got the equalizer, he didn't do nothing. He just stood there. If you remember, when he got the equalizer, he stood there. He just said...
Didn't he score very late on? Didn't he score in the 90-something minute? Yeah, 96 minutes.
91st minute. And he just stood there like this. Like, why did I score this? Almost like fans were actually upset that he scored the goal. You were in the stadium that night. What did people think?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't know what people thought. I know what I thought. I thought Southampton, absolute crap. And we just about managed to get a draw against them at home. Just about. It was a recurring nightmare going to home games watching the Arsenal. It was absolutely. You got there thinking, hold on, let me think. We want to 3 points here. Let's play a team to the bottom at home, which we did. Still couldn't win. So I was thinking, when's the next win coming? I really did think that. Yeah. It was so poor.
If I'm not mistaken, at this point, this is when people stop turning up to watch games, right?
Yeah.
When people stopped coming, the stadium was kind of empty, and I was like, oh, man.
And do you remember what happened the next game?
Frankfurt, oh, man.
This is the one Europa League game I'm going to mention because this is the game that he got sacked. After this game, he got sacked. Emery.
What date was this? This game?
This was the 28th
of November.
Yeah, 2019. He got sacked, and the following day, they basically didn't announce anything about who was going to come in or anything, but they waited until the Thursday before the Norwich game, and the Norwich game was the first game Freddie was in charge.
Mm-hmm. And Freddie, we got right behind him immediately, hoping he would give us some sort of lift, just like Man United got when Ole stepped in.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, Freddie is.
But the moment I seen the team sheet, I was like, yes, Lacazette and Thing are in, but everyone's seen this: Granit Xhaka, Mustafi,
and
Ozil, and people were like, they're like, I don't know, but there's people making fun of him. People were saying, what are you gonna really do? You know what I mean? But hey, let me answer this question. What do you call it? Dan Walsh. I get it. Sonny's missing in action. Sonny's gonna be back soon, guys. He's just been busy. He's been having some back pains and he needed to sort that out. He can't even be sitting at times. He's just been laying down. So, when he
What do
gets
you
better, he'll come back and he'll let you guys. He'll be hosting the show like usual.
What were you saying about Freddie? Sorry, what were you saying about Freddie?
When people seen the team sheet against Norwich, I remember there was outrage.
No, sorry, I'm talking. JR had a point about Freddie.
Yeah, so I said when he came, I thought he was gonna spur us on and start winning some games just because everyone's happy and breath of fresh air kind of thing. And it just took him so long. I think he only got one win, didn't he? Out of all of them. Yeah, it just
West Ham.
Yeah, West Ham. Yeah, it was almost as if like the teacher's out the class now. Let's run around and do whatever we want, and that's what happened. There was no, there was no togetherness. There was more happiness, saying, let's do yes. And Freddie, I love the guy, but he's not a great coach, is he?
Yeah, guys, back pain is no
not the
joke,
answer.
man.
Not the answer. You're right,
Definitely
Jay.
not.
It weren't the answer. Not the answer.
Okay, let's look at this again. So far, 13 games with Emery. He had 4 wins, 6 draws, and 3 defeats. Freddie came in. He had 1 win, 2 draws, and 2 defeats before his tenure was over. And then before anything happens with Arteta, that's where we were with what do you call it? Freddie Ljungberg. Let's see Freddie Ljungberg's reign now. So we had Norwich. It was a draw. Brighton at home, we lost, and that game kind of killed my morale. Like that really made me sad. The West Ham game was the game that I was quite excited and happy about. That was the first game where I was kind of happy. Do you want to jump straight to that, or do you want to discuss the Brighton game?
The Brighton game was a disaster.
Yeah,
they were a poor team, and they managed to have 29 shots against us, didn't they? 29 shots, and they have
19.
Sorry, I put something down 29. I got that wrong then. Sorry.
19. Oh.
Even 19's bad.
Yeah, very bad.
At home, by the way.
At home, they were actually the better team on the day. They deserved to get. They deserved to win. They scored from a corner. Poor defending from a corner. And the game, I remember the game because the team there showed no energy. They were all at 6s and 7s, and it was like you knew something had to change. You knew, and it was just a matter of time. It's not if, it was when. And it was just grinding these. We knew that Freddie wasn't. It's not his fault. He was thrown in at the deep end. You knew we had to get another manager in who could take us somewhere or stop the rot, because it was a rot setting in, wasn't it? We had a rot setting into this team.
Oh yeah.
Listen to this. Torreira wasn't rated by Emery or Freddie at the time. Think about it, because he didn't really get to play until Arteta came back. Cantwell was dancing on us.
Yeah, you see, somebody just made a comment about if Arteta's so good, why are all these other players there? You know what? To be honest, I said this to Sonny once as well, that Arteta, if he doesn't succeed, his downfall will be backing. It will be for backing Xhaka, Mustafi, Özil. These players who are not really contributing to the team, and you're still giving them a chance. Like, what? I don't know if he's playing that trip mind game where you give somebody rope to hang themselves, but we haven't got that luxury. So step in. Yeah, step in. Don't big them up and give them hope that they're gonna stay in that. Like, call a spade, innit? So I think that might be his downfall if there is one. But maybe he has. It's too soon to judge anyway. But
okay, let's discuss the last game. Let's discuss the West Ham game quickly. The West Ham game. Let me give you a quick synopsis. The West Ham game, this is the first time where I can say all season we looked at the team sheet and everyone was very excited, because I remember watching before this game, I looked at the team sheet. Yes, I seen Torreira in the midfield and I seen Xhaka, but there was no sight of David Luiz or Mustafi, which made a lot of people happy. You seen no sight of Lacazette, because Lacazette was struggling. You seen Martinelli in, and Martinelli was killing it in Europe. So when you seen these guys up front together, Pepe, Aubameyang, Martinelli, and the midfield and the defense, and Tierney, don't forget also, we were all excited. So paint the picture. That game happened. We're whipping balls in. Tierney's doing good. He gets injured at some point, and he has to come out of the game. Pepe almost looks like he got injured at some point. But what happens in the second half? We start firing. We scored after they went up in the 30th minute with a header from Bano. It was a weird goal. Martinelli scores a goal, we're like, yes. Pepe scores a goal, you're like, yes. And then when Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang scores the third goal, you're like, we have our Arsenal back. You're getting hyped, but then reality sets.
You've got to remember one thing, with all due respect, we were playing West Ham, you know, who had the worst defence this side of the Mississippi. And we managed to just about get 3 goals. 3 goals is fair against a decent team, but they had a poor defence. In fact, we were quite fortunate that the left back of West Ham, can't remember his name, I should do, he was kicking Pepe all over the shop. And it was disgraceful. He should have been sent off that game. And he then went off injured, the left back. And I can't remember who played left back. And Pepe roasted him second half. So that was he scored a brilliant goal. Pepe cutting inside and hitting a smashing shot.
I remember he swept it in.
But, you know, we were playing West Ham, and very happy we won. I was happy. Get me everybody, but I won't pop in any champagne. But
because it wasn't a big opposition. And,
no, exactly.
And
Apollonian, my bad. I didn't know you'd you'd want to come on today. My apologies. I should have messaged you.
Too late. Are we wrapping up soon?
No. We still got a lot to go. Keep going.
You should come on then.
If you want to come on, I'll send you the link right now. Let me know.
What are you saying, Jay? Sorry, I missed that.
No, we're talking about Apollo. Apollo.
Oh, right. No, before that, you're going to make a point. Sorry.
I already did. No, you were talking about Pepe's goal. How he swept the ball in. I said, yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, lovely cut inside.
Yeah, it was a beautiful goal.
I remember that one. Yeah, it was a good feeling. But then again, just like you said, I thought to myself, yeah, but it's West Ham. You know, we have great results against them. You know what I mean?
Okay,
they've had us a few times, but we've got,
guys, it's gonna get depressing now. In 15 minutes, we were 3 down, and we knew that Ljungberg needed to go. Ljungberg called out the board and said, "I need help. Either get a replacement, or get me some staff." Because at the time, he only had Per Mertesacker and the tea lady next to him.
It was like you sat down, and we were 2-0 down within 15 minutes, and it was like so easy for them to score. It was like, please, can we go home now? You're better than us. We know that. Let's go home. And I don't know if there was rumours about Arteta being our next manager, but he was in the frame. Might have been in the frame. And I was thinking, he'd never come to Arsenal if he watches this team. He ain't going to coach this ball. What's he want to do that for? He's like, you know what I mean? It's like he's got the biggest job in the world, right? And I was surprised when finally he agreed to join us. It shows what he feels about the club, which I'm very happy about. I'm very happy he has joined us. And I disagree with what the gentleman said earlier, that he's going to be gone. I don't think so. I think he'll be there for a long, long time. The only reason he'll go, it's not because he can't do the job. It's because the board will let him down. I really believe that.
Yeah. The balloon party for Lacazette was going on them times. And then what else we got? Terrer and Guendouzi struggled massively against Kevin De Bruyne. Okay, guys, we got ourselves a guest. Apollonian's here. He wants to take part of this review. Apollonian, say what up to the people, man.
Up?
Here he is. Good man.
What's good, people, man? What's good, man? What's good?
We're breaking down what happened during the season for people that have missed it.
Okay, cool.
And don't remember, because previously on Arsenal is a big thing going on now. People don't remember what actually took place and how bad we were.
Yeah, do you remember when I tell you, man? 2 wins in our last 17 games.
Damn.
Shocking. What we're doing tonight, actually, Apollo, what we're doing, if people are feeling over happy and they want to calm down a bit, all they've got to do is watch this and think about the last Arsenal season, which brings them down to level again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like
let me give you a quick recap.
Antidepressant.
Let me give you a quick recap of what we've covered so far. So far, we've covered the entire season, the entire reign of Ljungberg, and the entire reign of Arteta. Of Emery. So we started from the first game, the Newcastle game, went through the whole situation at Crystal Palace, the situation when we faced Villa, how good the team was in Europe, and they were basically a completely different 11. The Leicester result and the Liverpool result being very similar, where we were big underdogs against Leicester, where we took 30 shots against Watford, we took 19 shots against Brighton at home. We got destroyed by Wolves. even though we ended up in a draw, we were getting destroyed. We should have lost that game. And now we're at the point where Freddie Ljungberg has asked the club to basically sort out the situation. And they're basically at Arteta's house before the Everton game. And now we're at the Everton game where Arteta's in the stands and the game ends 0-0. What did you guys think about that?
That was Ljungberg's last game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
So two questions for you, Apollo. When it comes to Emery, what was the lowest of the low for you? At what point did you feel like no? And secondly, give your thoughts on Ljungberg after.
The lowest of the low was when we lost at Crystal Palace towards the end of last season, because that's when you realised we had to play our strongest team to get top 4, and he went and put out probably the worst Arsenal team that I've seen in years. And that was him just quitting on the fans and quitting on the team and quitting on any chance we had of making a Champions League. So that for me was where you knew it was all going wrong, because you had to go away to Wolves, you had to go away to Leicester and try and get a result. And we knew that we ended up getting beat, 3-0 and God knows.
Let me get the team sheet from that game.
Palace was 3-2 at home. We got beat, and then we
couldn't. Let me get that team sheet. That team sheet from that game in 2018 was Lacazette, Aubameyang, Iwobi,
what do you mean 2018?
The game that he's talking about where we lost when we drew against Palace, if you remember.
No, the game. No.
That was 2019, bro. That was
the end of last season.
Yeah, end of last season.
When we needed to get a couple of points out about 4 games.
It was just before Baku, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
So he was saving a team for Baku.
That's right. Yeah, well, he was saving a team for was it the Valencia game, I believe it was?
The one that Aubameyang went crazy.
He destroyed a hat-trick, didn't he? Yeah, he done well.
Yeah, oof. What a game.
So if you go towards the end of last season, because the thing about that game is it was a must-win game, because we were going away to Wolves, going away to Leicester, and you knew we weren't going to win those games. So that game was so important. And we lost 3-2. And it was just like, that was the beginning of the end for me. In
hindsight, that game was even bigger because Tottenham and everybody else around us were failing as well. We were losing as well.
That's true, man.
Honestly, man, I feel like I'm trying to get that out of my memory.
I don't know.
That was when the whole fan base knew that Emery had quit on the team. That was it.
Yeah.
That I knew in my mind it was over. Everything was over.
Okay, and your thoughts on Ljungberg?
Ljungberg, well, obviously I know he's done really well with the youth team, but to get a man out, I mean, the youth team is one thing because it's a commodity developing young talent. Developing young talent is completely different to managing a Premiership football team. And, Igal knows that I'm into American sports. I follow American sports in a massive way, just as much as I follow Arsenal. So I know everything about NBA, NFL. I keep up with the MLS as well. Obviously, being a Redskins fan, I've been to a few DC United games. I keep up with the whole spectrum. So when I knew that Freddie went to Seattle, I believe Freddie was playing in Seattle at the time, and he was doing a management stint there. That was before we got him to take part. So I kind of knew his experience. I knew where he was at, and it was a bridge too far for him. And it was harsh when I saw fans criticizing him. And the guy was thrown in the deep end. He's got no philosophy. He's got no plan. Yeah, remember, Arteta's come from a winning formula. He knows what good looks like. He's the whole philosophy of the best manager in the Premiership at the moment, Guardiola, or the best tactics from there and the philosophies. He's grown up in that. The winning is all Arteta knows. To take Freddie from a position in a youth team and expect him to deliver on the Premiership level was nothing short of ridiculous from the board, really.
Yeah, that was mental.
What I said earlier was that maybe they were hoping for that new manager effect that Ole had. And it just didn't work at all.
I mean, the thing is, you want lightning in a bottle, don't you? You know what happened with Wenger, and you know what happened with Solskjaer, and Frank Lampard's obviously done quite well. you want lightning in the bottle. If you don't take a chance, you don't know, do you?
True.
But I think it was apparently, me and Melvin spoke about this before. It was apparent from an early stage that it was too big for Freddie to deal with.
Yeah.
But I don't think the club hired him to stay. I think he was just a stopgap. You know what I mean? I don't think that they wanted him to. They picked him to be the guy who was going to take us forward or anything. But come on, I think he did a terrible job, man. Terrible.
I think there was a point where they thought, if he can just take us to the new year, or if he can just take us to then we'll be all right. And they realized early on, they were like, whoa, it's
not going to work.
but what was the worry? What I was worried about, and I'd love him to do well, but when they made him the coach, I thought if he has some lucky results here, they could keep him on give him a 3-year contract. And that was the bold and not savvy when it comes to football. Let's face it. But, they read the papers. Oh look, we won 2-1 again. We beat this team. We might have been slaughtered that game, but managed to get a lucky couple of wins, like Emery did when he first came. Had that run of results, and I'm like, you know what? We're going to culture it. 3 years, so we can't change his manager for another 3 years now.
Apollo, let me tell you this. I feel like the whole situation with Emery, what happened was, you know how Jeff Fisher and the Titans, Stan Kroenke wouldn't get rid of, with the Rams, he wouldn't get rid of Jeff Fisher, even though Jeff Fisher was known for being the worst coach, and he's out of his depth. Every single analyst was saying, why is this guy still a coach? 3 years into it, he basically sacrificed the whole future of the club and got rid of every single draft pick they have for like 2 seasons. One prospect. And that is basically murder when it comes to getting rid of that many draft picks for one player in the NFL, because one player is not going to do nothing.
Yeah, you're salvaging your whole future on just a chance. And it wasn't like, when they had the greatest show on turf, when they had that team, it was a brilliant team because they paid for their defense and they drafted their whole offense. So their offense was all these young players on minimum contracts, while their defense was all these multi-million studs on massive contracts. So it was a good balance between, how to make a successful team. But the Jeff Fisher thing, we know Kroenke is a guy who he'll do as little as possible to get the best result. And unfortunately, that doesn't bring success.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna bring it back to the schedule, guys.
It's a great comment. I agree with that. Ancelotti after.
We're gonna.
Yeah, that is a good comment.
I just want to show you guys this. Yeah, this comments are great. Ancelotti after Wenger would have been a dream move. Sadly, ship sailed, and now we're on to Arteta. But but I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. Anyway. We had a season with these 3 guys. Right now, I'm just about to enter the Arteta regime. His first game, we're going to get into it. But before we move on, Emery, Ljungberg, Arteta, this season will be remembered for these 3 guys and what went wrong. But to me, we all know what went wrong with Emery. We all know Ljungberg was a part-time. Hopefully, we can stay solid and stick by the man on your right-hand side.
It seems like years ago, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's crazy, right? To think all 3 of these guys have been a part of our team this year.
Wow.
So was Corona.
Corona played the biggest part, I'll tell you that.
Man,
Corona's been more of a game factor than Arteta and Emery. Okay. Bournemouth Arsenal game. It's 0-0. We're gonna skip by this because I feel like there wasn't a lot to talk about.
Let's go straight into Arteta's first
defensive error. We played out the back, led to a conceding a goal by Dan Gosling in the 35th minute. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang saved the game, and we drew 1-1. Moving on.
What was the stats in that game though, in terms of shots on goal and shots in total? Because for me, the biggest difference
13.
Right. So before that, it was 30. 35 against Southampton, 31 Everton. We were literally letting in 25 to 35 shots per game. So you could see straight from there the structure of keeping tight, which is what maintaining a good balance and a good shape is always going to be about. It already started in that Bournemouth game, even the Chelsea game, which you saw there, which we're moving on to, you could see straight away that the intensity the kilometers run per game and the tightness and the shape of the team were already apparent in terms of work rate.
Yeah, guys are loving. Darren is loving the fact that we're going through all the games, and he's saying great show. Thank you, Darren. And then he's got some more comments here. I'll just Arteta is a genius. We don't know about that yet. Very important that the players understand him and his direction. Clear for going forward. Arteta has a free pass till the end of the season, when we will see if he'll become ruthless or not, basically. But yeah, sorry to cut you off, Melvin.
Right, are we talking about the Chelsea game here?
Yes,
we're jumping straight into the Chelsea game.
It was absolutely chalk and cheese. It was like a different 11 players on that pitch.
Yeah.
It was direct. It was fast. They were getting stuck in. It was fantastic. And we ran out of steam. Basically, we weren't fit, were we? I mean, because we've never run like that for about 18 months. And all of a sudden, run all the game, boss? No, I can't do that. And it was basically, you know what I mean? So it was lovely to see. We were very unlucky. A bit of our own downfall was out. I think Leno made a Weetabix mistake for one of the goals from a corner. He flapped it, I think. And then we're on the.
I mean, even with that, Melvin, the referee should have sent off Jorginho.
Oh, I forgot about that. You're right. Yes. Well, he'd already been booked, hadn't he, or something? And he should have been a second booking. You're right. And he scored the winner, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that's what I mean. Even with the mistake, we still have lost that game. I mean, it was the best half of football I'd seen at the Emirates all season. And 100%. remember, Melvin, at that point, our stadium was empty. I think when I stood there and I did the pre-match video, because I do all the video vlogs for all the games, I couldn't believe when I walked in there and they announced it was 50,000. I said, what is this guy drinking? There's not even 20,000 fans in the stadium.
Liars.
Of course they are. Yeah.
Guys, none of you guys have spoken about the lineup, and I want to mention the lineup. We had Saka, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, we had Reece Nelson in the lineup, we had Guendouzi, we had Chambers, we had Lucas Torreira. This right here is a very young team, and then we had the big shutters like Aubameyang, Lacazette, Ozil. You had Leno, of course, David Luiz. Those are the guys that we had this game. The major thing that people did not see: no Mustafi, no Xhaka. So a lot of people were happy about the lineup going into the game, but they were not happy that Reece Nelson was playing over Pepe. And to me, the first half, if it wasn't for Lacazette missing his feet, Reece Nelson would have 2 assists this game.
Yeah. I just want to say one thing about this game that's important is that this is, we're talking about making an instant impact, and we're talking about putting down the marker as a manager to say that you're not taking any shit. And what we've seen throughout the season was what he did to Pepe. He didn't like what he was seeing in training, and Pepe had come up to him and said, look, what do I need to do to get into the team? And Arteta told him. He said, you can't be trying to do everything by yourself. I need the ball played quicker. I need you to be a part of the rondo press. And that's what he was doing, which is why it got him back into the team. But the most important thing is he was dropped for that reason. Maitland-Niles was dropped because he was late to practice. Guendouzi was dropped for same disciplinary reasons. So this guy, somebody I read in the chat that Arteta needs to be more ruthless and things like that. That's a part of him being ruthless and not taking any crap. He is straight off the bat sent out a message to say, this is the level that I want you guys to get to and that I will accept. And those who are at the level above are not going to play. That's what he was basically saying.
Do you remember this? Ozil got subbed off in the 76th minute for Joe Willock. That's when people started saying, people were starting to say, why would you sub on Joe Willock when you have other people on the bench? And there,
something. What it proves, I think, with Arteta going back to his ruthlessness. I think he mentally wiped the slate clean. Don't care what your name is. I'm judging you and what you do on the pitch.
No, but don't forget, Chambers got injured. Mustafi would have never been on the pitch if Chambers never got injured that game.
No, obviously an injury, you've got to make a change. But I'm saying he picked the team, what he saw in training, and if they did it there and they did it on the pitch, they played whatever their name was. And that's the best way to do it.
Agreed.
Because we had too many players that, I've been here for so long. That's my number. It's always first on the team sheet. I don't have to try too hard. That all stopped.
Yeah.
Guys, VAR did not do us any favors, but we're talking about season review. We could do a whole VAR podcast, right? Okay, Melvin and JR, just sort of let you guys know, but it's going over an hour, and we're gonna keep going.
Well, let's just go do the end of the season. We ain't got that many to do now.
Yeah,
and,
we don't got that many.
You know, when you got Apollo on, you don't want to cut us off, do you, eh? You got to make the most of him, ain't you, eh?
Nah, man. Apollo, on your channel, you've been doing some great stuff about the Black Lives Matters and everything that's been going on with this whole situation, explaining to people that don't kind of know about the whole situation. But appreciate your work, man.
Cheers, man.
What do you call it? Going back to Arsenal, get us back to the harsh reality of watching this team. We have games where you look at these guys and you're like, why can't they do this more often? First, Pepe's putting everybody on their ass during this game, and then Socrates comes up with a goal to make it 2-0. And then, yes, Man United had their chances, and they had more shots than us, but to me, I felt like we were comfortable the whole entire game. What do you guys remember from this game? I'll start with Melvin.
Yeah, I think it was another very good performance. Like the Chelsea game, we came out with a definite idea of how we wanted to play, and we did it. And we had energy, which we've been missing the whole season. And this time, United aren't as good as Chelsea, and Chelsea, and they didn't have as much luck as Chelsea. So therefore, we got away with it and we won. And I think we probably deserved to win. And I felt again after that game, I thought we're making progress. We're not going to change it overnight because the players just aren't good enough. We know that. But what he's got is making good use out of the manager. So I was very, very happy after that game.
Yeah. I'm going to come in 1 second. I got a super chat here. What do you call it? Zane's in the house. What up, Zane? Big man. He's talking about Chelsea. Chelsea might have been the big boys that night, but in the transfer window, they're not playing games. We should have signed Timo Werner, he's saying, but it looks like Chelsea might have signed Timo Werner. What do you guys think? Should we have signed Timo Werner and maybe let go of one of our strikers?
No. Striker's not it's not our priority. Our priority is the midfield. Ceballos is going to be leaving. He was supposed to be Ramsey's replacement. And that is that spot. And remember, Ozil's going to be going as well at some point, whether it's this summer or next summer. Right now, midfield is the key. It's the priority. It's the cog that will make the defense and the attack better. And that's what we need to focus on.
True.
100%. Just concentrate on that. I don't care what else they do. Do that first, then anything they do after that is a bonus.
Agreed.
What do you guys think? 53 million. I think we should have got rid of. We should have got rid of at least one of them and try to get Timo Werner in, and if we have money left over. But I don't think we would ever do that, anyways. I agree with you.
What do you mean? Get rid of them? They got to be buyers before you get rid of them. So where are the buyers?
No.
You can't just say press a button. You're gone. You're out. You've got to have teams that actually want them and for the money that you want. It's not that easy, to tell players.
If there's one club in the Premier League that I believe can pull off a swap deal, it's Arsenal. I'll tell you that.
Well, you say that. Some of our players are not sellable because they earn too much money.
Yeah, so you know what we do?
So that's a problem as well.
We do what they do. We do what they do in North American sports. We swap for youth players, and we give them the player for free, basically.
Well, we got a few youths.
You can't get rid of him.
Mkhitaryan for Calvin Lewin. I mean, what's his name? Justin Kluivert. That's an amazing swap deal. He's a kid for the future. Remember,
the player has to want to leave as well.
Yeah, everything's got to fit. Everything's got to fit.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, sorry guys, I got us off track. Zane, good super chat. Next one, we're gonna. What do you guys think about the lineup against Man United?
I don't care. We won.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent. That's what the Chelsea result should have been if we had the legs to get through to the finish.
Yeah.
We played well. Yeah, we played very well. Flowing football. At no point of that game, I thought to myself, "Now we're gonna lose this," or everything was just perfect.
Yeah, and for me, it was the clean sheet, and it was the fact that we had only, we've gone from 30 shots a game to around 11, 12. Something was working there, and it started to brew from there. And you thought, yeah, clean sheet, and then it was all good, man. After that, that's where it really went on a roll.
Okay, so after the Man United game, don't forget the Leeds game, where Leeds looked like they're on top of us first half. So second half, everything changed. We're not talking about that, though. We're going to only talk Premier League. Then the Crystal Palace game, the red card.
He was unlucky about the wasn't he? very unlucky. I've seen worse tackles over the park. People don't get anything happens. No.
If you guys don't know, Spurs are literally what do you call it? Lo Celso literally stepped fully on top of a guy's leg and didn't get a red card. And the next following weekend. So it just goes to show you that referees, it's how they feel that night. Because if Lo Celso can fully step on Azpilicueta's leg when Azpilicueta's on the floor, and the man comes in and like toe taps him, come on.
Yeah, and if you know Aubameyang and look at his track history, you knew that wasn't malicious. It wasn't.
The biggest thing in this game, I remember when I wrote the player ratings, I gave Pepe man of the match. He was absolutely brilliant in this game, and he nearly won the game. Remember at the end of the game, I think it was the 91st minute, when he had that shot and the goalkeeper just got fingertips to it.
Oh, yes, I do remember it, yes.
And, you know, even then we had the ability and the chance to win the game. You knew from that point Pepe was just turning it on. And, you know, obviously the goal that we let in came from one of the defenders switching off. So Arteta wasn't happy about that. He wasn't happy about the defense switching off. Yeah. 6 shots allowed, though. 6 shots allowed. Defense was improved.
I'm gonna jump in. Sorry.
Big change there, Paulo, wasn't it? Big change.
JR, what do you call it? What do you think about this super chat? Would you guys swap Ozil and Aubameyang for Hazard? I don't think Real Madrid would do that, even though Hazard eats a lot of pies lately.
No, not Aubameyang. But because with Hazard, he's great. We all know he's great.
Big body girl.
He doesn't score goals. He doesn't even assist that much. But he's amazing. We know he is.
I thought he was the best player in the Premiership last season.
Oh, definitely. But
Coutinho
he's not what Coutinho was. You know what I mean? Like,
not for me. The best player in the season last year, I think Mane deserves a lot more credit last season, because I don't know how Van Dijk won player of the season when Mane was literally the guy who carried that squad certain games. People underestimate Mane, man. But hey, we're gonna go back to Arsenal. Melvin, what do you think about these three? Let's talk about these 3 games as a group, okay? The Crystal Palace draw, the Sheffield United draw, and the Chelsea draw 2-2. If you put those all together, did you see some good performances from those games, or do you feel like they were all like in a blur?
No, they were totally different. No, you shouldn't put them together.
Okay, so how would you separate them? How would you separate them?
I'll tell you how I separate them. The Chelsea game showed the old Arsenal spirit. We had our backs against the wall. We defended very, very well. We twice went behind. We also gave away a stupid penalty, went down to 10 men, and being 2-1 down again, they still couldn't beat us. And of course, that Martinelli goal, I know that the midfielder of Chelsea fell over on the halfway line, slipped, but the kid had to run 70 yards with the ball. He's got no nerves in his body at all to score that goal. Absolutely brilliant. When you've got too much time to think, that's when it's a problem sometimes. He had 70 yards to think about what he's going to do, and he put it away like an old professional. Fantastic. And I loved it. The game was, I remember that game. I watched it with Jerome, and it was just like, we couldn't believe it. We're so happy. You know, even if we got beat 2-1, not happy, but we saw things there that we were fighting. We were together as a team, and it was, you got to give that to the manager. I'm sorry, you got to say he's doing something. So that game, I was fantastic. It felt like a win actually, drawing 2-2.
Okay. What about the Crystal Palace and Sheffield United game? Would those be clumped into the same bracket, or would you say those games were different?
What I would say to you, kid, is those games are soon forgotten.
Okay.
Hold on. Melvin, hold on. That Crystal Palace one, don't forget the rugby tackle.
What was that? Guendouzi, was it?
Guendouzi on
yeah.
That won't be forgotten.
He deserves credit for that.
Listen, I'm not a Guendouzi fan, but that was genius. That was genius. He was gonna go score. Definitely. He took one for the team.
Yo, Zayn is coming out with one-liners tonight. Did you know Spurs hired trophies for the stadium tours to tourists?
Well, they got
wouldn't believe that.
hey, Zane, they got to pay for the stadium somehow, bro.
Okay. JR Apollo,
Yeah.
same question. Those 3 games, they were all draws. From when you look at the record, they all look the same. But can you distinguish the differences between those 3 performances?
I go with exactly what Melvin said because I don't even remember 2 of them properly. So I'll be talking nonsense if I had to comment. But yeah. So I'll go with Melvin.
I mean, for me, it was the big thing was there was quite a few questions. How are we going to handle the pressure without our top scorer, who was going to take over and fill the booth?
Yeah,
Martinelli got 2 goals in those 3 games. Another thing was the resilience, the compactness. The problem with Arsenal previously is because of the way how we play undisciplined football. A well-oiled, well-drilled team like Sheffield United is attuned to beating us. You know, the reason why we can never beat Wolves and we haven't is because when you get a team that's so good at what they're doing and they've played together for a long time, that's our kryptonite. Because when we turn up and we have no clue what we're supposed to be doing and we're not committed and we're not running as hard and we're not doing a team like that that's well oiled would just roll us over. And that's why we've had trouble with those teams in the past. So the draws was a good show and a good indication of our resilience under Arteta. That's what I took from it.
Probably.
To be contrarian for 1 second, I know we don't like to do this all the time, but Arteta was not getting the wins. At his first 7 games, he only got 1 win. So from his first 7 games, people were still very critical of him. So what did you guys think?
Well, people being critical of someone who's just come in 7 games to a team like ours that was drowning.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Like any smart Arsenal supporter like us knew that the only thing we wanted to see was structure and a philosophy. That's it. And then we knew that we were on the right track. And then you build up for that. That's it. So anyone that was, questioning more, this is like, what the hell, man? Some people, man, I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone missed a goal, it's not his fault if the forward kicked it incorrectly to win the game 2-1 instead of drawing. It's you've got to remember what he was working with, what he was given, and where he's got us. I think
he's still working with.
True.
I'm gonna show the Martinelli goal, and but just before I do that, Apollo, I'll let you take this one. Zane had another super chat, and I know you've been talking about this a lot, so you're more educated on the field about this than most of us, I would say. Big up George Floyd. Shame on Trump. You have anything to say on that, man?
Anything to say on what those 3 games or Arteta's changes?
No, Zane super chat and the whole situation over there, man.
Oh, in America?
Yeah.
Oh, well, as you can tell from my videos, and I've just made a video today as well, and it's about the composition of the police becoming closer to the social side of the people who they serve and protect. And I think slowly that message has to hit home, that they are there to protect and serve. And what they're doing is the complete opposite to that. And all of what we've seen is, I've talked to the baby boomers, the 60, 70-year-olds, and they were saying, we were fighting and we were doing all this for you back in the 50s and 60s. And I said to them, the difference now is we've got one thing you guys never had. We've got the white man standing right next to us. Yeah, we've got the white man kneeling right next to us. Police are out there kneeling. The army's out there kneeling. The National Guard's kneeling.
Everyone's had enough. Yeah.
Sorry?
I said, everyone's had enough.
Yeah, everyone's had enough. And the other thing, and that's all it is. This isn't about black people. Black people have always protested, always, spoke with our hearts and minds. But what hasn't happened is we've never had the backing. I've got loads of white friends. I love them like brothers and sisters. And they've never really stood next to us and fought with us. And the message this week, over the last few weeks, is if you love us, come and support us. Come and stand right next to us. Don't stand in the background and be quiet and be oblivious to what is apparently clear to everybody on the planet. They have opened their eyes to so many different things. Amy Cooper, white privilege. They've opened their eyes to things that they weren't seeing before. And with all due respect, a lot of the themes of the film Parasite, the film Joker, from DC Comics, a lot of the stuff that they were showing was the disparity between different social parts of people in the world. If the rich and the privileged are well off, they can't see, or neither do they really care about what happens outside their front door. Now, what's happened in the last 2 weeks is they've seen exactly what's happened and they care about what's happened. And listen, white supremacists and the police, the brutality police, they will not win this fight because everyone's rising up. Asians, white, Hispanics, black, where everybody is rising up and fighting. And that's what's brought about the change. That's my opinion.
True. Apollo has released a lot of great stuff on that, and if you guys want to check it out, you know where to find him on his channel at Apollo 101. And honestly, thanks Zane for the super chat. Appreciate it. And it's a tough topic to talk about. A lot of people have been discussing it and talking about it, and I just hope that we can get through this as humanity and as humans. And just remember,
and our Floyd, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what ethnicity you are, what race, we just all are humans, and just remember that for 1 second. I'm gonna get back to football, guys. Sorry for deterring it for 1 second, but here's the goal. If you guys can see this clearly.
That's Bellerin's, isn't it? Yeah, Bellerin's. No, that's Martinelli, sorry.
Can you see it or no?
Yeah, I can just about see it with my eyes.
Yeah, that's the Martinelli,
and then he scoops it in. And then after celebrates.
Big.
But then, just to show you guys again, from the distance that he took it from.
That's a big boy. It's a big boy
angle.
Big
boy.
And then this is the Bellerin goal from that same game. It came out of nowhere. That Bellerin goal came out of nowhere. If you remember.
That Bellerin goal reminds me of his Liverpool one, but he was closer. Really nice.
And it was his right foot. This is his left foot, this one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the reason why when you see the two defenders take the angles, they took the right angle. As a defender, you're taught to manage your angles. So if you know somebody's one-footed and someone's on that foot, you take an
extra. You show him inside. Yeah, they show him inside, and then come a cropper.
Yeah, he comes on the wrong foot where they're like, huh? What's going on there? And then boom.
Let him go. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm going to get it back on the schedule. The reason why I wanted to show the goals for that one game and no other game, because I feel like that was the goal of the season. And that game, both of the goals were such amazing, shocking moments that you just remember that game as you forget about the stats. But look at the stats. 2 shots to 22 shots. Ridiculous. Chelsea battered us, but we showed the heart and the fight that we had with Arteta, and that's why I feel like I had to ask you guys, look at those 3 games. Which game do you remember the most? Because at the end of the season, when you look at all the W's, this is the one W you're gonna remember the most, and there's a reason behind it.
What's your take on
it? It's a draw.
It was a draw, yeah.
It's a draw, but it's gonna be the most glorified draw of the season.
Yeah.
It felt like a W. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that was some. Man, that was a good pick me up at that time because things were so bad before then.
Okay, I'm gonna skip through some of these games. We're not gonna talk about the Burnley Arsenal 0-0. That was terrible. Arsenal Bournemouth where we won 2-1. Do you guys remember that game?
That's the FA Cup, wasn't it?
Oh, that was FA Cup? Yeah, I forget about that.
Yeah, we beat them in the FA Cup, yeah.
The Newcastle game. This game had me out of my seat, guys. I was so excited. I was in Birmingham at my wife's family's place. We were watching this game. They're all Chelsea fan, Man United fans sitting around me. Then Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang scores. Then Pepe scores. Then Oz scores. Then Lacazette scores. Saka does the nutmeg for the assist for Pepe. Everything was mad that game, and I was just enjoying it. How are you guys feeling?
Again, it was good at the time, but it was Newcastle, isn't it? So
yeah,
nah, that doesn't matter who it is, mate, because you're talking about
no. Apollo, when it comes to points, of course it doesn't matter. But did I think this was gonna spur us on? No.
Yeah, bro. Listen, we couldn't beat Norwich. We couldn't beat Watford.
So, yeah, we discussed that. We discussed all of that.
Yeah, and they were so when people say, it's only Newcastle, it's like, bro, it don't matter who it is.
No, I meant it from a defining moment.
Right. Yeah.
No, listen, mate. I'll take all the points. I expect them to win this game. You know, 100%. It's 3 points at the end of the day.
I think it was defining. I think it was defining because everybody knew that after the Man United game where we won 2-0, everybody thought, okay, right, somebody is going to be on the back end of a ass.
Yeah.
Thrashing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Can I jump in here, guys? Can I jump in here? From the Premier League, from Arsenal's player of the season to being benched by an academy player who just came back from loan from Leeds, Eddie Nketiah. Aubameyang, at that point, everyone was calling him like a threat, like a whatever, but he was coming off the bench to prove a point, and he was scoring goals coming off the bench. But Eddie Nketiah was impressive, for me at least.
Listen, he had 2 goals. He hit the bar twice in those appearances. But the biggest thing, I talked about this in my show on Wednesday night on my podcast, and I was saying the thing about Lacazette is he had got sluggish. He wasn't backtracking. He wasn't pressing the midfield. He wasn't playing tight. When you look at what Eddie Nketiah does off the ball, all of those things that Arteta wants a striker to do, he was doing. Yeah, everything in terms of keeping tight, running into the. How many balls when Lacazette is on the field? How many balls are played across from Saka and Pepe? And Lacazette wasn't running into the 6-yard box, getting on the end of it. A lot of times that was happening with Eddie. Eddie doesn't let those chances slip. Yeah, he is in the right position at the right time. You know, I've akened him to our Dwight York and Andy Cole. That's what I see him as, and I believe in him. I really do.
Saka's nutmeg was pure class. I just want to mention this comment by Lee, and the next one, Eddie Nketiah is awesome.
When you say Dwight York, what's going on?
One second, I think Apollo.
What have you done?
Everyone's
right now.
I think Apollo had an echo.
So actually, carry on. Right. When you talk about Dwight York, yeah, he does actually. The way he runs reminds me a bit of Dwight York, and the way he's actually got a lot of speed as well, which is we haven't had. I mean, Aubameyang is fast, but he doesn't do it in the middle because he's playing on the wide. But with Lacazette, I don't want to bang him too much again because he has had the season before he was good, but last season was poor. But he's not what you call a fast player, Lacazette, is he? Over 10 yards. He doesn't get away from defenders.
Igal's killing himself. Right, what are you looking at, Igal? What are you looking at?
It better be good. You've cut me off, so it better be good, Igal. Come on.
In it, go shut up and let him finish.
No, carry on.
Go, don't listen to him.
Go on.
Carry on.
No, that comment has me crying.
Which one?
Don't disrespect Lacazette. He's on the show.
Yeah, I saw that. My boy, when they're calling you out, you know. They're calling you out, bro.
That joke's not getting old.
At all.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Let's go to the stats. I wanted to show you guys the starting lineup, but the stats from this game, it tells you a different story about Newcastle. They should have scored.
Yeah, when it was 2-0, they're too decent. No, hit the post when it was 2-0, and one of their defenders, I think, should have scored. I think Luis just about blocked, just put it an inch past the post. He just got his foot there, and luckily it went past the post. But yeah, so it was 2-0. They might have got back to 2-1, but that would have been it.
Melvin, have you noticed how efficient the stats have become now?
Exactly. Yeah.
Can you go back there? Like that was 7 shots on target, and we scored 4 goals.
Nobody has mentioned. Yeah, nobody has mentioned who the man of the match was in that game.
Go remind us.
Mesut was it? Ozil. I mean, Ozil. Sorry.
Mesut Ozil. You know, even before the goal, I actually stood in the stands and said, "Wouldn't it be funny if Ozil scored? He doesn't need to top off the performance that he had, but I said it would be gravy on a plate." And then 2 minutes later, he goes and bangs one in the net. It was brilliant from Ozil.
It was a nice move as well, wasn't it? Lovely move.
Yeah. I thought I'd mention that because Ozil gets a lot of stick among our fan base, and I'm one of those who stick up for him. So, big time.
You're the supporter, are you? You're the one that sticks up for him. No, there's one.
Okay, so we're moving on, boys. We're moving on.
I slam him as well. If you guys have watched my show, all them guys call him lazy, and it's just not catchy. Everyone's calling him right now. So
Adidas have dumped him.
Yeah.
Quickly,
I hate the paper. I hate the way papers brand stuff. But anyway,
Everton, Arsenal, Ancelotti and Arteta will be forever linked because they were both hired and came into the positions on the other leg of this matchup. So this matchup was the first time they actually faced each other as manager, and there was some people saying we should have had Ancelotti instead of Arteta at the time. And from the first minute, Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored a scrappy goal. Then Eddie Nketiah scores. Then you got Aubameyang scores, and then just before halftime, Richarlison makes it even, right? But then what happens is, if you remember, after halftime, we came out of nowhere and we just scored. Pierre Aubameyang scored a goal, and professional job from there, kept it 3-2 in my opinion. I'm going to
let you guys go first because I got a lot to talk about in this game.
I remember this game. Richarlison and Iwobi, they stood out very well. They played very, very well against us. But yeah, professional job.
Richarlison, I mean, he can leave his foot in, can't he? He was really getting stuck in, but he's a very good player. He's a fantastic player. He could just go fly past people. Got the aggression. He's in the right place at the right time. No, when they paid, was it 40 million for him? They paid. I thought, what are they doing 40? That for?
50 or 40?
50? Whatever, 50,
it was 50. Between there.
Whatever they paid, I thought
that's a lot.
Yeah, it was at the time. I thought this is ridiculous, but I think he's worth
it. He's quality. Barcelona offered 88 in the January transfer window. They turned it down.
Yeah. Well, Everton aren't a selling club anymore, are they? That's the
no, but they're after Koulibaly and we're after Disasi.
Right, about this game you're talking about, kid.
Yeah, go on.
I remember is the people that sat in front of me. They got in late. They missed the first goal with Everton, and they went for a cup of tea at half time. They missed the other Everton goal as well. So all in all, I just I nearly said to them, when you get into your seat, don't move because Everton will score again if you move. So stay where you are. But I didn't.
Wait. We got someone in the comments. Beast Titan is calling you out for saying Ozil was just bang one in the net. He made a mere tap in.
Like I said, bro, he didn't need to score.
Bangs in the net.
He didn't need to score to get man of the match. And if you saw the game, you'd know that. But big shout out to your picture there, Beast Titan. Did you see the trailer for Attack on Titans season 4? Lit, my brother, lit. Anyway, carry on.
You carry on. You were going to tell us about the game. You said you got a lot of points.
I got a lot to say, but I'm waiting for you.
I was going to finish with one more point. Dominic Calvert-Lewin proved me wrong. I said this guy is not a top footballer. He's a championship footballer. I'm sorry. This guy, definition of what a target man is. He gets the ball, he gets his goals, he brings the ball down, he links the play. All you need to do, if you have a guy like this, he's the definition of what a target man is. And I need to apologize. This kid is class. He's not amazing.
An open goal in the last minute. Should have scored in the last minute with his head open goal.
Hey, we support Arsenal. We don't support Everton. But I got to give the kid credit.
Listen, these guys were on the tear before this game. Everton, this was Mikel Arteta's biggest test because we hadn't played a team that high up in the division since he had taken over. This was a real test for Arsenal. And the form that they were in was lightning as well. And they overcame the test. For me, Arsenal, this was the sign. You know, when we're all saying, when did we know that Arteta was the right man for the job and blah, blah, blah. This was the game for me because it hadn't taken Arteta any time to really get the team organized in the way that he needed to. It says a lot about the Arsenal's board's confidence in Arteta that they were willing to hand over such an enormous task to a man who's never managed before. Yeah. And in this game, it really, really showed what we were doing to deal with the wave of quality that Everton threw up on us. In regards to Carlo Ancelotti, I think that, and from what I was told by a few agents, they didn't want him to be our Van Gaal. That was the basic premise, that, Unai Emery was our failure, and then Ancelotti probably would have been our Van Gaal, so they needed to go with something different from that. And that's the reason why they never went with him. And I like Carlo Ancelotti.
Me too.
I
think
he's a quality, and he'll turn that team around, which he had. They were on both teams actually were on an unbeaten streak in that game. And we came out on top, and it really showed me It really did. That, you know, the difference is one of the things that I had found out from Arsenal before that game was how they backed off players who were running at them. And this game, they didn't do that. They really took that right angles, and the positioning was great, and the angles were great. And it was just like, whoa, okay, these guys are for real. We were head and shoulders above the displays that we were showing previously beforehand. And for us to beat a team in the top 6, well, that just hadn't happened all season. So for me, that's when the light bulb came on, and it was bang, yeah? Arsenal finally beat a big team, and then we're ready. I was really looking forward to the Man City game before the Corona because of this result
here. Yeah, me too. Me too. I wanted to see
it. I was looking forward to facing Tottenham with no Harry Kane and Son and everything else.
Yeah.
Zane said there's a super chat. Who speaks better English, Emery or Kane? Honestly,
Emery.
I think Emery can speak a sentence without having to say or but I think Kane knows more English. But yeah. What do you call it? We're gonna get back onto the schedule. Tell me, guys, have we covered this game fully, or do you guys have any more questions?
We've done that. Tick.
I'm just gonna show you guys the lineup. Another game where Eddie Nketiah started, and he was one of the guys who got the goal that game.
Yeah.
Saka was man of the match because I think Kolasinac got injured quickly, and Saka came in as a substitute early in the first half, if you remember.
I remember the commentators bigging him up so much that day. It was really everyone was happy with him.
Yeah. Okay. So the Olympiacos debacle happened. We faced Portsmouth in the cup, and then the next game was Arsenal West Ham, the last game of the season. I was there. That game was a highlight because I went to that game and I seen Melvin. So that was one of the main highlights. And I was sitting beside the goal where we scored. So I seen that the guy wasn't offside, or no one was really offside. And even if it was, there was a deflection and it took off the other player. So,
this time I had the worst flu ever. And some people were saying I had Corona at the time. So yeah, maybe I just didn't know. But, yeah, it was really bad. It's the worst I've ever had. But yeah.
If you remember, it's another game where Eddie started. It was a trend. He went from player of the season to being a bench player, and an academy player was taking his place. And it just goes to show you, like, this is one of the I was thinking to make this the title of the video, actually. The guy went from player of the season to being a bench player consecutive games for Eddie Nketiah. But tell me, guys, Pablo Mari debut at the Emirates, stats. West Ham had clear-cut chances that they just messed up, and I was happy. But
that's where we had. I think Mari played his first home game, didn't he?
That's right.
In the first,
I didn't watch
the first half, he made an absolute error after about 10 minutes. He got the wrong side of the forward, and the forward ran on. And all he had to do was put it square, and it'd been 1-0 to West Ham. And luckily, there was a bit of a muck up between, like not on the same wavelength, and we got away with that. And also, I think the VAR, have they decided yet on that goal with Lacazette? Because they took so long to work out that VAR. It seemed to take like a year for them to make up their mind.
I loved it because I haven't been to a game in forever, and the celebration, I got to celebrate twice.
All I will say, if it takes 3 or 4 minutes to make a decision on VAR, then whoever it is, the original decision should stand. Because it can't be that clear cut.
No goal.
VAR hasn't been good to us. Remember this season?
Oh, shocking!
It's ruined us. Just
go back. What we forgot to mention in the Crystal Palace home game, we scored a perfectly good goal, and Chambers was for VAR because he pushed a player. But what they saw was someone pushed Chambers into someone.
I forgot about that.
VAR saw it, and they still didn't allow the goal. So VAR.
They said Chambers fouled the player. Let alone, you thought, oh my God, it makes no sense.
It was so against us. It was unbelievable.
So guys, the things that stood out to me in this game was the man of the match.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was there. I never missed a home game, mate, in 10 years.
I should have called you, man. I would have met up.
Yeah, we can meet up, man. Don't worry. When everything gets back to normal, we'll definitely meet up. Because remember, I do my video blog, so you could come there as well, man, and chill out on it. And it's good because you can go on my channel and see all the game vlogs on there and see it as it happens. Because not only do I do a pre-game But when it's half time, I go downstairs in the tunnel at the stairs and I do a half-time review and say what's happened at half-time, and then I do a full-time. So it's almost like I'm reading the whole game as a story. So that's what's good about the game vlogs. But I remember this one, the man of the match was Bernd Leno. God, how many saves did that guy make? He made about, 5, 6 quality saves. Really kept us in the game. And Beast Titan, let's talk about that Ozil assist for the Lacazette goal, where he jumps up in the head and neds it down. So smart, man. The intelligence of Ozil to make that run for the assist was brilliant. Look, a lot of people slag him off, and you have to understand where Arteta's coming from. Arteta was choosing him for a reason, and he really, two things was happening at that point. You guys know I talked to Graham from AFTV about the way how he was moving Ozil to the right to support Pepe, because Pepe was getting nothing from the from the right back. Yeah, he was getting nothing from there. So Ozil then had to sweep over and help out Pepe, and Ceballos then was starting to get into his groove. So that was really everything was clicking together, and it's so frustrating. This was our 3rd clean sheet in 4 games, and the team just looked stronger and stronger. And you were like, yeah, man, we passed the test with Everton. Man City up next, and then boom.
Yeah.
We looked so strong, man. We were looking.
We did. We had some good momentum going, and then
and we won ugly in this game. We didn't play well at all.
No, I agree. We didn't. No, we didn't.
And winning ugly was just like, hey, okay, so we can win against top 5 teams at Everton. We can win ugly, We're not letting any more goals in. Happy days. It was like, let's see what we're really made of now at Man City. Oh wow, such a shame, man. Beast Titan, man. Let's hear that shout out right now for the Ozil.
let me jump in. Me and Melvin met up at halftime, and Melvin was bigging up Ozil. He was saying Ozil was literally man of the match at halftime,
which is unusual for me.
And at the end of the game, to me, Ozil was quality.
Listen. Yeah, Ozil, we all know he's got that quality. He just doesn't do it all the time, innit?
Yeah.
I'm not his biggest fan, but I have to say, I've got to say about Ozil, if you put him in a great team, he'd be great.
Oh yeah.
You cannot have 6 or 7 poor players around him, and you expect him to play wonderfully. He can't do it, and he shouldn't do it. It's just not fair. If he had players running off of him, which we don't, which we're getting to have now, but players running off of him, he's got the brains, he can put a ball in, fantastic. But when you're asking him to do all the extra work, and then he looks and there's nobody to give the ball to because they haven't got the mental ability to know where to run to, then you're not going to get the best out of him.
And the worst thing is, my analogy has always been, if you're a great team like Liverpool and everybody's working hard and everyone's working within the system, you're disciplined, they're making the runs, and the movement is great up front, then he will sing it's like you got a milkshake.
It's like David Silva.
Yeah, something like that. You got the milkshake, the whipped cream, everything is with Ozil's the cherry that you put right on the top. He's the but if you're making it and you're putting that cherry in the mix of it or in the bottom, it ain't gonna shine. And on an average poor team, he will look awful.
That's
so
right.
It is what it is anyway. It is what it is. He's playing because he's showing Arteta that he's going to work hard. I mean, in that game, the way he was running into space and running off the forwards and linking with Ceballos in the midfield and floating out to support Pepe, his movement was just sublime in that game.
Ooh, big words.
One of his better games.
Lacazette should be sleeping. Doesn't he have a double training session tomorrow? Keep it coming, guys. You guys are killing it with those. You guys are killing it with those same jokes.
Double session.
Switch it up. Okay, so we've done all the games.
Can I just ask something? Sorry, can I just say something? When we stop, whenever it is next minute, whenever it is, should we all give a prediction for the Man City game? The last thing we do.
1 second. I have that ready.
I'm doing this on Sunday. Sunday, I'm going through all the fixtures, giving the predictions. Oh, it's going to be...
You got to do it today.
Man City, Arsenal. My prediction is...
Okay.
You got to wait and see. Anyways.
What do you mean wait and see? He just asked you.
We're gonna do a proper preview for the Man City game closer to tip off.
Yeah, but so just give your finger. Don't give
right
no.
Now,
no.
If right now, as everything stands, I'm gonna go 2-1 Arsenal.
I think we're gonna win 3-2.
Melvin?
I'm going for the last time we beat them at City. I think we won 2-0. I'm going for 2-0.
Wow, you guys! I'm going for 2-2. I'm going for 2. There's nothing I've seen from this team that they just about scraped the Everton game, and they're just not in their league at the moment. However, Arteta knows their formula inside out. He knows their strengths, their weaknesses, and if anyone can go there and game plan for Manchester City, it's him. So that's the reason why I would definitely say all three of you. That's a really positive prediction, and it's something that is possible. Before Arteta, it would have been impossible.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But he can definitely. But I'm going to play it safe on that one. I'm going with 2-2.
And I think we have, after the Man City away game, I think we have a pretty good 4-game schedule. But
then we got Spurs and then Liverpool,
and then Leicester.
Yeah, I know. But my point is, after the Man City game, the next 3 games are winnable games. So we can see where we are after 3 games. If we win our next 4 games, you never know. We could be within it again.
I don't think we're going to beat Southampton. We never win there.
No, it's true, yeah.
We absolutely get destroyed.
Wait, remember the season when Spurs thought they were going to win the league? Remember what they did to us? Oh, that was hurtful. That was so hurtful. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm bad. Igel,
Ljungberg.
When I did the predictions with you, Igel, I only went for 2 wins in the next 9 games in the league with Arsenal. I didn't see us doing well at all, mate.
Yes,
in the next 9, bro.
Yeah.
I had us winning.
You were there with me.
Yeah. Oh man.
We did the predictions last week. In the next 9 games, I went 2 wins, 4 draws and 3 losses.
Oh man.
I was shocked. With this,
the crazy thing is, none of us had them in the top 4, or 5, or 6.
The thing is, guys, with the Premier League coming back, it's going to be like a new season.
Yeah, I agree.
Nobody has got new players. It was allowed to buy anyone in the transfer window.
I said to Melvin, this is the longest break that the players have had in their careers. Never have they had this long off since they had signed the professional contract. And it's like a brand new season. Yeah. Forget the 5 clean sheets on the last 8 games. Forget the 8-game winning streak. Forget everything. However, that works in our favor, because the one thing Arteta said in his first interview when he was recovering from COVID was, I never got to have a preseason with these guys. I never got to sit down and talk analytics with these guys. I never got to sit down and found out what was in their heads, minds, and hearts. And he goes, I've had the time to do that now. I've got to know what they want from me, and they've got to know what I want from them. And all the tactics and the philosophies we've been training, we've got to put that all together. So I think that we are going to come out of this like a cannon. Yeah, I really do.
No pun intended. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up.
Oh, good.
Just before we wrap it up, I'm going to show you guys this picture again. It's been the season of the 3. It's been the season of the 3 managers. It's been very interesting. All 3 of them, you've either loved them or hate them. It doesn't matter. But from the highs to the lows, to the future, to what to expect after we come back, we won't know. But one thing you will know is that we're out of here. And if the boys have anything to say it now or forever hold your peace.
Yeah, I just want to shout out my channel, guys. You can find me on 101 on Arsenal, and I do my live chats every Sunday at 8 and every Wednesday at 10. And obviously I do the game vlogs and videos in between. But yeah, man, check me out. Big shout out to Igel, and big shout out to Sonny as well, man. Nice one.
Yeah. Sure. So Sunday, when you're done watching our video, go straight over to Apollo's channel and go watch his video. It's gonna be it's great stuff. Melvin, JR, you guys got anything to say?
Nope, nothing. But everybody stay safe and be positive, and can't wait for the season to start. And we're up. It's free, isn't it? They're showing on BBC, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the games, they're saying that a lot of the things that they wanted is going to happen. So, I'm looking forward to it. I wasn't before because having heard from the players, having spoken to a lot of the agents, which I supplied a lot of agents in my professional business. I was always on their side, not really on the league side. So when the players were fearing about their concerns and the waivers they asked them to sign and all these things that were going wrong, the league wasn't listening, but now they've started to listen because the league realized, look, if we don't get these things, put the logistics in place, the players ain't coming back. So now they're listening. I'm kind of looking forward to it now.
Cool.
Nice.
All right,
Melvin, you got anything to say before we go?
No, just really enjoyed it. Seriously, really enjoyed it, and look forward to more with these two guys as well.
So
No
yeah,
doubt.
guys,
You too,
that was previously on Arsenal. And then on Sunday we got the Arsenal news. Sonny should be coming back on Sunday, hopefully, guys. If he feels any better, hopefully he feels better. Yeah, so that back pain, everyone who's making fun of Ozil, Sonny can't make fun of Ozil anymore because that back pain stuff is real. And remember, subscribe if you hate Tottenham, subscribe if you hate Tottenham, subscribe if you hate Tottenham. Anyone else got anything bad to say about Tottenham?
I know. I love Zane's super chat though. They rent trophies for stadium tours.